All right, so the Atlanta Falcons making an effort to help out Kirk Cousins, making an effort to help out the receiving core, and I actually think going after a receiver was a real underrated thing they needed to do. I think we talk about Atlanta as like, oh man, all these weapons that just need, a good quarterback and a good coach to kind of unlock them. Good offensive line, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, but a lot of times in football, it can come down to your third option. A lot of teams, you can double two guys, and even if you don't want to double two guys, you can double one guy and put your number one receiver or number one corner, on, like Drake London in this scenario. The reality is they needed someone else that kind of help out at the wide receiver position, because even one of those, because out of those top three guys that I mentioned, Bijan, London, and Pitts, only one of them is actually a wide receiver. So Mooney will be the number two receiver right off the bat, and really, Kyle Pitts can kind of play a receiver type option. So you could argue number three receiver, but still, I think there's a lot of value in going out and getting a guy like Mooney here. Now, I like Mooney as a player. PFF isn't crazy about him, but again, PFF isn't the end all be all. I think he's pretty good. Now, I didn't think he's coming off of his best. So he had that great 2021 1,000-yard season, and that's kind of the one that we all remember. Since then, yet to eclipse 500 yards, and so it does feel like you're kind of buying a bit low on Mooney. What's also interesting is Atlanta's starting to run out of money, right? I mean, you look at their cash spent at this point, they're near the top of the league. They were, actually believe they're probably number two in the league, if my math is right, after this contract. They were four before this contract, which, again, who knows how much money they're actually willing to spend on these players. They might be willing to kind of do a little bit of an all-in push right now, which I actually think might be the best strategy. A lot of times these contracts are backloaded, so maybe that's the move. I do think Mooney is someone who fills a need for them. The question is, how good of a player is he? And it does feel like you're a bit paying for potential just as much as what he can bring. I think either way, even if it doesn't fully work out, he should still bring you some value. There still should be some good things that he can bring to the table here. And as a whole, it's good to, I think, if you're in the situation, if you're making the Kirk Cousins contract at this point, don't say, well, we got to build for the future. No, you're trying to compete now. Be as good as you can right now, and he is someone who should help them play now. Now, the details itself, 3-year, $39 million, so definitely not a top-tier wide receiver contract, but you're paying him some money. You are, and you are hoping that this works out. And again, I don't know how much money the Atlanta Falcons have. This might be their one other addition they can make after the Kirk Cousins move, or they might be able to make 4 or 5 more, because again, who knows how much money they actually are willing to spend on their players now. One thing Atlanta does typically do is they'll have some years where they spend very little, and then some years where they spend a lot. That's part of their mindset. And so when they're trying to be competitive, they can spend a little bit more than the average team can, and we'll see if they decide to do that here. But either way, interesting stuff with Mooney going to the Falcons. That's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. Of course, as always, thanks for watching.